an essential. So we really have to give credit again to the man who was the cinematographer, Henri Alicon, who also was an Academy Award nominee for Roman Holiday, did The Wonderful Wings of Desire for Femme Vendors,
Yep.
and also another one that was so beautiful. The photography was the 1948 version of Anna Karenina with Vivian Leigh.
Yep.
Stunning black and white for that, so quite a talented man.
Well, like I was speaking before about the rich blackness that surrounds the characters, it's, you know, it's just not something that you often see them sort of in this, you know, sea of black and yet so beautifully sparkling in the foreground. I mean, her eyes sparkle like diamonds, and the costumes are so complemented by his lighting. You know, what could go a lot quieter ends up really having this incredible literal effervescence on screen. The water sparkles, you know. I love the way that the stones look against the sky, like the colors all, you know, are perfectly blended. I really think this is just one of those movies where it is so cinematic because of every choice they made, but also a lot of the touches that they did.
And those things don't just happen.
I mean, her bedroom with like the gorgeous foliage and trees that are, you know, cascading through the room. It really is a world that they created, and that's what you want in films, is to be transported. But I always think, you know, if you're grounded in some level of reality, if there's some level of I could be there, some relatability, then you can, I think, take people out to the solar system almost, or, you know, very far. But even with films with tremendous special effects, I always hope that it's like there's some level of groundedness, because I think you can elevate, you know, into the furthest depths of our imagination. But if you just keep our feet on the ground in some level, I think it helps the audience feel like they could be there. And this film does that perfectly.
Yes. And I always think of this film as a very spectacular movie. But when you really look at it, there's not a lot of spectacle in it. It's all very creatively done so that you think it's spectacular, but you can also see where they had to cut corners. They couldn't build sets. They didn't have the money for sets, so they have like, you know, blank walls and everything. And
the words are so thoughtful, because it is like a silent film in so many ways, where it is unspoken, and they're very trusting of the audience, and he doesn't need to oversay everything. But the little pieces of dialogue you do get are just really great, but there are long, long breaths in between the lines.
Yeah, we're going to move on now, and I hope you'll join us next week for another edition of The Essentials. Here's a preview. In the Heat of the Night, 1967. Rod Steiger and Sidney Poitier are both perfectly cast in this movie.
Sidney Poitier has a power on screen like nobody else.
What I love about this movie is it's got a very strong message, but delivers it very entertainingly.
I think this movie is a quintessential essential.
From 1967, In the Heat of the Night. That's next Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can find out more at TCM.com. Thanks for joining us for The Essentials.
Tonight on Turner Classic Movies, Leslie Caron steps into a familiar tale wearing the glass slipper. Then Danny Kaye spins a yarn or two as Hans Christian Andersen. And diamonds are a gang's best friend, according to the Candy Snatchers.
Experience New York.